Hello, chat. Hi, chat. I found this Reddit where they were discussing bad date stories, and I thought it'd be fun to read some. This is what's the worst date you've ever had on Reddit. I was gonna read them anyway, and so I was like, might as well read them with chat and see if there's any good ones to spice up our night. Came out of a movie late at night, and date's Camaro was stolen. Apparently, he called his wife that I didn't know he had and let her know where he was and what happened. She showed up and realized he was on a date. She started chasing me around the parking lot, telling me she was going to kill me. Saved by the cops who showed up just in time to take the auto theft report. Oh my god, what the fuck? How are people out here cheating on their spouse with fucking, like, Instagram and Twitter exists? Like, how are you cheating on your spouse? Not necessarily a date, but a person I was dating invited me to his parents' house for an afternoon. He wanted to introduce me to them and show me the house he grew up in. I thought it was super sweet and had no problems going. Yeah, we got there and it was awful. His entire family was there. This was not just meeting the parents, it was meeting the entire family. Even worse, at some point, this jackass told his parents that he had proposed. We had been dating 2 months. What? I spent the entire afternoon dumbfounded and just playing along. We ended up spending the afternoon brainstorming wedding ideas and planning an Alaskan honeymoon that his parents planned to gift us. We drove back to his apartment in silence. When we got there, I got in my car and left. Didn't even bother grabbing my stuff. Weirdest experience ever. I have no idea how he broke it to his parents that we weren't getting married. What the heck? I feel, okay, I will say, I feel like that required at least a conversation. I got catfished. We talked for hours, and when it came time to pick her up, I clearly saw it wasn't this person I thought I was talking to. I just gunned it and sped off. Dude, there are so many catfishes that you just see in normal everyday life, especially on like being on the internet and like, you know, surrounded by people that post a lot now. There are people that are just like straight up catfishes, and it's crazy because what do? You just act normal, right? I have met a catfish or two, and it is crazy. Now, I think you got to be honest. No, I don't think you do. Because what's the point in being honest? Because like they know they're catfishing. You video chat before meeting them. No, I'm saying like influencers. Like there are people you guys see on Twitch sometimes, and they look totally different than they look in person. Got set up on a blind date between two mutual friends. She shows up to the restaurant already a little tipsy, orders multiple appetizers, and only takes 1 or 2 bites from each one. Then she proceeds to order 3 or 4 more drinks and is visibly drunk at this point. She gets up and says she's going to the bathroom and staggers off. About 15 to 20 minutes go by, so I try to call her several times, but no answer. Finally, I decide to pay the check and just leave. About 2 hours later, I'm sitting at home and I get a call from an unknown number. It's the police department. She was picked up on a DUI on her way home after she ditched me and gave the cops my number to see if I could bail her out. Oh my god. This is a bold move. How hard did you laugh at that? I was blown away. I just said I didn't know anyone by that name. Yeah, that's the right move. That's the right move, I think. Well, I gave this answer on a different topic, but it ties in with this. We were out on a date. We had been seeing each other for a while, close to a year. She gets a phone call, suddenly looks destroyed. Her fiance just died in a motorcycle accident. What? I did not expect that. How do you even react to this situation? Losing 2 guys in one night. You've got some bad luck. Uh-oh. Here's another red one. Here's another red one, chat. Everyone ready for a juicy one? You got your tea? Got set up on a blind date by some friends several years ago before my wife and I started dating. The date was early September and we met in a restaurant in the city. It was a nice place and kind of where the waitstaff wear dress shirts, ties, etc. I was in a nice suit and tie. She showed up in jeans, flip-flops, and a hoodie. I jokingly said something along the lines of, I'm assuming they didn't tell you the place is sort of snooty. She goes, they did. I didn't give a fuck. I ain't shaving my legs and putting on some fancy dress for some guy who I don't even know if I want to touch his dick, let alone if I'm willing to let him between my legs. I just stared at her in disbelief. She then said, I mean, you seem nice and all, but I ain't in the mood to do all that work when I can just go home and do it myself. I asked her to keep her voice down, and then she goes, why do you want me to keep my voice down? Are you afraid people will hear me talking about going home and fucking myself with my vibrator instead of letting you come back and fuck me? I just stood up, walked over to the waiter, paid for the drink I had while I was waiting, apologized to them for her outburst and said, blind date, I'm not sticking around, and left. I did hear from our mutual friend. She later on got married to some guy, stabbed him on their anniversary a few years later, and is now in jail for attempted murder. They were like, yeah, we always knew she was kind of crazy. Toxic queen or psychopath. Edit. Some more details. More juice chat. Yes, she stabbed her husband. Stabbed, not poked, stabbed. She was pretty, but not worth that level of crazy. The woman in question stabbed her then husband about 20 times with one of those small handheld gardening shovels. It was their 1-year anniversary. She is still in prison. He eventually got out of the hospital, went to rehab, and moved out of the state. Last I heard, he got remarried and had kids. Wow, girl, like 20 times is more than one, you know? That is more than one. That is more than one time. Wow, happy anniversary. Went out with a girl where we were probably 13 or 14. We went to see Inception. She gets up to go to the bathroom and doesn't come back for a long time. Eventually, I go look for her, and the guy behind the concession stand looks at me and gives me the most pitying look I've ever received and points around the corner where I found her making out with another guy. Oh no. I should have walked out, but instead I just went back to my seat to watch the rest of the movie. She returned and asked me to fill her in on the last hour of Inception of all goddamn movies to miss the middle of. Also, because that wasn't enough, after the movie, I wasn't sure which bus to take home, and she pointed me to the wrong bus. I don't think this was intentional. They were right next to each other. And I wound up in a part of city I've never been to before. There's no follow-up? Sir, she must have took Inception too serious. She thought she needed to find a date within the date. Good one. Good one, Redditor. Okay, another gold one. Literally shit myself on a date once. Wasn't technically a date, but the guy had a farm. He took me to see the animals, feed, etc. I walked away for a few minutes and and overtrusted a fart. I just looked at him and asked if he could please take me back to the car. He wanted to know why, and I said because I just pooped my pants. Guy had a super nice truck and made me sit on my feet all the way back to my vehicle. We actually ended up dating for 2-ish years, and somehow me shitting myself on the first date was the end of all jokes. Wow.
Sup?
Hi, you ready for my story?
Okay, I think I'm ready.
This is the worst date I've ever been on. It was 11 years ago. I wasn't feeling great, but I decided to meet anyway. We met at a Belgian beer bar. She, this is when I dated women, was gorgeous, fun, and totally into me. I felt a gas pain, so I leaned forward slightly to quietly relieve the pressure. I completely and explosively shat myself. The odor was imminent. I excused myself to the bathroom, but the damage was too great. I walked out of the bathroom, muddy panted, out of the bar, and boarded a train for home. The date was nothing compared to the horror following 3 weeks recovering from E. coli. I just wanted you to know that about me.
Could we never have story time again?
Let me see if I can find one more. This one's so long.
Should I read it?
Yeah, you can read it.
I met this guy who worked as a lifeguard at the local rec center I worked out at. He was super cute and always was very nice to me. We exchanged numbers and started texting some, and soon he asked me out on a date. Keep in mind that we were both like 17 at the time, haha. So the plan for dinner
I was laughing. It was funny.
So the plan for dinner was date and a movie. Pretty standard stuff, I suppose. He asked me where I wanted to eat and said he had bought tickets to see the new Jungle Book reboot movie. The date was set until he picked me up and we got in the car. Here's where it gets really fun. We got on the road and pulled into the local Hooters. It was there he informed me that we were actually going on a double date and his best friend, his girlfriend, would be there shorty. So not only am I at a Hooters, which wasn't the place we agreed on, it's probably the worst restaurant to take a date anyways, we were being joined by 2 other people that I had no clue who they were. Once they arrived, we went inside and got our food. I personally thought the food was shit, and the entire time we ate, my date and his best friend talked about partying and how drunk they get and how they had fucked all these different girls and ran from cops. I honestly felt bad for his friend's GF. She seemed so quiet and nice, just sat there listening to her BF talk about doing other girls. My date didn't speak to me, just talked to his friend. Honestly, at this point, I wanted to go home, but I was excited to see the movie, so I stuck it out. When we got there, I swear on my life, it wasn't even 50 minutes into this freaking children's movie with other families near that the date not necessarily put my hand on his raging boner and started trying to feel me up. Again, in front of his friends and with other people around. It was so disgusting, oh my goodness, and it pushed me over the edge. I told him not to freaking touch me anymore, and then we sat there in silence. Once the movie ended, we got back in the car and didn't speak the entire drive home. When he pulled into my driveway, he pulled up halfway, I've got a long driveway, and told me that I could go ahead and kiss him there in the car because he wasn't going to walk me to my door. That's smooth.
Oh my god.
Needless to say, I hopped out, slammed the door, and walked in. I never talked to him again, and he stopped going to the rec center. Haha. I ran into a mutual friend of both of us who told me that my date was super mopey and sad because our date went so well, and I just ghosted him. Oh.
That was rude.
So rude of her.
That was rude, man. Oh, I got a good one. A guy approached me at a coffee shop and we ended up hitting it off and talking all night. About a week later, we had our first real date at my place so I could cook him dinner. I lived in a small bedroom apartment at the time, and the bathroom door was right next to the kitchen. Oh no. Why do I keep getting the poop ones?
Oh,
He excused
gosh.
himself before dinner and proceeded to take the loudest and what I presume to be the most massive shit the universe has ever seen. The sounds of the toilet carnage still echo in my nightmares. I, of course, didn't mention that I heard the whole event, and we went about our evening. After dinner, we got into my bed so we could watch a movie. 30 minutes into it, I needed to use the restroom. So I got out of bed to reveal that I have unknowingly started my period and left a noticeable pool of blood where I was sitting. He helped me change the sheets. Anyway, we've been married a year now, and he still takes the nastiest dumps known to mankind. What the heck?
Wow. His bowels and,
She bleeded.
yep, match made in heaven.
All right, we're probably good. We can play Parkitect now. Chat, I hope you enjoyed that.
Okay.
I hope you enjoyed some of these stories. They were pretty funny, huh? Whoa. You enjoyed them?